I think what I love most about being a costume designer is the amount of people that I get to work with, the amazing craftsmanship I surround myself with, and the idea that I never know what my next job is. I never know what the next challenge is, so it's a continually creative, changing process. I started out costume designing when I moved to New York in 1980. I started a class at NYU Film School and realized that I was way older than everyone else in this summer program, and I had a whole life before I did this. I ended up meeting someone by chance on a street corner whose mother was a production designer. Ultimately, I ended up getting a job one day on her project because someone didn't show up for work. It was my first job, and I made props for the movie Ragtime for the set decorator. And my friend Kimberly and I spent the summer in the basement making hats, and the costume designer liked the hat. She started using our prop hats on people, and I've continued to work with that group of people, Patrizia von Brandenstein and Stuart Wurtzel, for about a year in New York in whatever job I could get, and then it sort of built from there. Most of my collaborations with Tim Burton have involved Johnny Depp, or a lot of them have. But I have known those guys for so long, and they're like my little brothers. We did Edward Scissorhands together, and that was the first time I'd met both of them or worked with either one of them. And it was just an easy kind of companionship and sort of camaraderie about what a design was, how we made the movies. And back then the movies were a little bit smaller than the stuff that we're doing now. And it was a whole kind of family atmosphere. And I think when you start a profession and a career in a sort of group, like my collaborations with Jonathan Demme, Rob Marshall, all those kind of great collaborators that I've gotten to work with, they really create a world around them as a director. And they grow from film to film, and most of the people are repeat players, and it really makes the working process a special thing. The process is always a hard thing to articulate, I think, the creation of a process. I think I start with the process by sort of reading the screenplay and then just kind of looking at images. I have a few kind of old books I go to and look at. I kind of meditate on them. I think about the actor. If I know who the actor is, it's playing the part. And I think about the whole story and how they are real in the story before they become, because I've done so many fantasy characters, how they are as real people inside before they become like a fantasy character. Because every great character is built from within. It's built from the, who is this person? I love to incorporate texture in design. I don't see how they cannot exist together. As I've designed more and more things, I've adapted sort of a group of people around me who are really great craftsmen and textile artists. And I love to see what they come up with, because in fact, the market in fabric has gotten smaller and smaller, so you don't get the variety in the materials that you used to be able to find on the street. So what I do is get rather basic materials and then incorporate my own textures on them, whether it's a transfer where you're drawing color out of a fabric, a layering of another color over it, layering two fabrics together, or different sewing techniques that create a texture. I also feel like as HD has become the way that we're, looking and designing films and the way they're being shot, that there's certain things that HD that enriches the sort of images that HD gives you. And I think one of those things is textures and a sort of use of reflection and things that kind of emanate light. I think it really helps with that sort of technical camera. I really loved designing Miss Peregrine because each of those children was like a real, adult character. They weren't like cute kids that were just kind of peripheral in the story. They were each a very strong character that was depicted in the script. I sort of gave each one a color, and each one in the story had a purpose. There was Hugh with his bees. His sweater has a sort of honeycomb texture in the way it's knit, and it has stripes. Emma's gift was air, and so her dress is the color of the sky, and I knew she was going to be floating in it, so I really wanted it to feel like she was like a human cloud almost. Each person had its quirk, so it was really lovely the way it was written, and it made designing the characters a kind of special journey for me, and sort of fell into place quite smoothly. In order to get into costume design, I think the best thing is to get a job. If you can get a job on a film or a video or a play, and do the best work you can, be available, help everyone, and make it known to the costume department if you're not working for them that that's where you'd like to be, and people remember you if you're great and do good work. I'm Colleen Atwood, and I'm a costume designer.